Let me introduce you to Ronald. Ronald is a student in Uganda, but he can't afford to pay for his education, and he can't get a loan. But he does have something that each of us has in his pocket, and that is a smartphone. The Gates Foundation says that there's 2.5 billion people in the world, just like Ronald, who have a cell phone but can't get access to financial services. And that's a huge number of people who can't lift themselves out of poverty by getting a loan or saving money. Well, today I'm going to tell you about how digital currency can bring financial services to these 2.5 billion people, and from there, spread to the rest of the world. So who am I? I'm the CEO of Coinbase. In 2012, we launched the most popular retail exchange for digital currency. In 2015, we launched the most popular institutional exchange for digital currency in the United States. And today, I can't wait to tell you about our latest company, Token, which we launched just 1 month ago. So today I'm going to tell you about what Token is, why it matters, and how it's going to bring financial services to these 2.5 billion people around the world. So let's get started. At the core of it, Token is something really simple. It's a messenger app with money baked in. But it has a couple of really unique properties. Number one, those payments work in every country of the world from day one, because we built it on top of the Ethereum network. Number two, it's not just people that you're paying back and forth with. We also made it dramatically easier to build digital currency applications, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. Number three, every user on this platform is in control of their own funds. Your private key never leaves your device. And four, Token has a built-in reputation system, so you know which apps and people you can trust. You know, Token is really architected underneath to be a bit like a web browser. So it's really tying together these low-level protocols in each of these categories into a simple-to-use interface. So for the messaging layer, we're using the Signal protocol, which end-to-end encrypts all the messages so that you're the only one who can read them. This is the same protocol used by WhatsApp with hundreds of millions of daily active users. The money runs over Ethereum, which provides this global decentralized value transfer network. The apps are built with Web3.js and this new protocol that we created called SOFA, which stands for Simple Open Financial Application. And finally, the identity and hopefully the reputation layer in the future will be built on top of Uport, a decentralized identity system. So really, Token is tying all these underlying protocols together into an easy-to-use interface, and digital currency just got a lot easier to use. We launched the developer preview about 1 month ago, and this is some of what people are saying out there in the community. So in summary, what is Token? It's global payments over chat. It works in every country of the world. There's an app platform that makes it dramatically easier to build digital currency applications. Every user is in control of their own funds. You know who to trust, and it ties together all of these digital currency, or all of these protocols into one simple-to-use interface. So why does this matter? The first reason this matters is that digital currency is having its Netscape moment. What do I mean by that? Well, when the internet first started out, it was really a collection of low-level protocols, binary protocols, like TCP/IP. People needed to get connectivity into the internet, and so internet service providers, or ISPs, got created. But it wasn't until high-level languages like HTML and JavaScript came along, in addition to the web browser, that we saw a flourishing of apps out there in the ecosystem. And this is exactly where digital currency is today. Now, I want to provide you a specific example about just how big the difference is between trying to build an application on a low-level protocol like TCP/IP versus building an application on a high-level language like HTML or SOFA. So here's an example. Lighthouse is an app that was created by a very talented developer named Mike Hearn, and he used the low-level Bitcoin script to build this application. It took him about 8 months to get a basic version of it working. A member of our community built this app, which is pretty similar, on top of Token, and it took just 8 hours. That's 3 orders of magnitude difference. And the reason it was so easy is that they were able to use these high-level languages, the equivalent of HTML in a browser. They used the SOFA protocol on top of Token. So what happens when it's suddenly 3 orders of magnitude easier to create these digital currency applications? Well, it means you're going to get a lot more of them. And if we can have 1,000 good ideas tried, 10 of those are going to turn out to be huge successes with 1 billion users someday. How many of you have used this application? It's called WeChat. All right, that's what I thought. So most people in the United States have never heard of this application, but it has almost 1 billion people who use it every single month in China. And it's very similar to Token. It's a messenger app, but it's really so much more than that because it has money baked in. In fact, I'll tell you a story. When I was in Beijing last year, I got on the subway, the doors closed, everyone took out their phone, I looked to my left, to my right, and in front of me, and every single person was on WeChat. This is basically a bank replacement for many people in China. You can get insurance with it. You can go pay your doctor. You can rent a bicycle, go around town, food, anything you want. WeChat is amazing, but it really only works in one country of the world. With Token, we're going to build WeChat for the other 180 countries of the world. And we're going to do something even better, because we're going to enable cross-border payments all over the world. And Token also has great privacy. People can't read your messages when you send it back and forth. The smartphone revolution, combined with digital currency, is going to allow us to put a bank in every pocket in the developing world. And the McKinsey Global Institute says that providing financial services via mobile phone can add $3.7 trillion to the GDP of emerging economies. So this is a huge deal. Digital currency is having its Netscape moment right now. There's going to be a dramatic increase in the number of digital currency apps that are created because it just got so much easier. We know that this model works because WeChat is already so successful in one country. We're going to build the WeChat for the other 180 countries of the world. And finally, by putting a bank in every pocket in the developing world, we can increase the GDP of emerging economies by $3.7 trillion. So what can we all do to help this transition happen faster in the world? The first step is easy. If you search for Token browser in any of the app stores, you can install it and get started today. The second step is that we need to start building out some of these foundational apps on top of this platform. And so we're hosting a hackathon. It's starting June 3rd. It's going to run for 1 week, and it's open to developers all over the world. We're going to give away $25,000 in Ethereum prizes. And you can see that we have a few judges from the community: Joey Krug from Augur, Brett Ursum from Coinbase, and Juan Benet from Protocol Labs. Now, I want to give you an example of just how easy it is to build one of these applications. So let's do the whole thing in 60 seconds. The first step is, this is for the developers in the audience, you can git clone our sample app, clone it to your local machine. Then you're going to have to generate a seed, which is like the private key, and paste in your credentials into the config file. So you have an Ethereum address for your application. You have a seed, which is like your private key. And then we also get to choose a name for your application. So in this case, we're going to choose the name MySimpleBot, or MyCoolBot. Now you just run the docker compose up command, and a number of services are going to get started on your machine. Your bot runs in JavaScript. There's a Redis instance. And we handle all of the encrypting of your messages using the Signal protocol. Now you can just go on your phone, search for your application. It's live from anywhere in the world, and you can start chatting with it. We've made this simple interface where you can have some basic commands built into your app, and you're up and running, literally in 60 seconds. And it's not just sofa apps. Token also supports dApps built with Web3.js, or Decentralized Applications. So it literally is a browser for the Ethereum network. You can put in any URL that's out there on the internet, and it will load that dApp. You can use it just like you might have used MetaMask or Mist in the past. These are just a few of the applications that I'm really excited to see in the hackathon. And I think people are going to need all kinds of use cases on top of Token. They're going to need a way to get their local currency into and out of it. They're going to need a way to get a loan, to send money to their family in other countries, to sell their goods and services, even to earn a living. And so I'm really excited to see some of these come out in the hackathon. So there's the URL for the hackathon. You can go and register today, and it's starting on June 3rd. The last step is that if you have any friends in the developing world, we would love to get more people exposed to this application and get their feedback about what's working and what's not so we can keep improving it. So it's easy. You can install the app, register for the hackathon, and please keep sending us feedback from people in the target market. At the beginning of this talk, I introduced you to Ronald. And I mentioned that there's 2.5 billion people in the world just like him who have a cell phone but don't have access to financial services. With Token, we're targeting the developing world first because that's where people have the biggest pain point. They don't have access to any financial services at all. But the truth is that people all over the world want access to better financial services. And so once we get a foothold in the developing world, this technology is going to spread from one country to the next, and eventually to the entire world. The price of digital currency today is still largely driven by speculation. And that's fine as a bootstrapping mechanism for the network. But the truth is that we have a much bigger opportunity in front of us. It's time for the digital currency industry to shift from speculative investment to delivering real value for people all over the world. With Token, we're going to bring financial services to 2.5 billion people in the developing world, and we'd love to have you join us. Thank you.